Hi everyone, my name is Lisa. Welcome back to another sort of valley tour. This is for one biome, the Sunlit Plateau. I've been working on it for a couple days and I've got it to a place where I'm happy with it. I'll explain more as I walk through, but I moved a new character up here who had been somewhere else. I left, well, I'll explain as I go. Let's see. Here we go. I changed up, if you watched it, my scar area. I changed that up slightly, so I'm going to show that off first. Before, I had a table here with just coconuts and things on it. I took that out and put the stove here because I had this stove down here where this little banquet area is. So when I would go there to cook, all I could see is the back of this water fountain. That's just where the camera ended up. So I like it better here because I actually use this stove quite a bit cooking things as I'm mining. So I changed that, and then as someone suggested, I add more of these rugs to get more greenery feel in here. And I think it worked. You can't overlap them, which I kind of hoped you could. So I just ended up putting them in between the brick areas that I had already laid down. And I think it does add something. I like it. And I did add that palm tree, the Little Mermaid palm tree back there that lights the area up slightly better. In the future, I hope they release different colors of that tree. I really love the tree and the amount of light that it puts off. I just wish it wasn't blue light and just blue in general. I wish we had another option. Orange would be really cool because we have these little sea anemone type things. Is that what they are? Just coral, whatever they are. And they glow slightly orange at night, so it would be nice to have an orange glowing tree in here. That would be really neat. So that's the part that had already been complete. I already had Eric up here to decorate. I just hadn't done anything with his house yet. As you can see, it's a little sparse as far as foliage goes. I'm getting real close to that limit, and I'm being a little careful. So eventually this will be a little more filled in with trees and things. I'm also hoping we get some bushes, larger bushes, so that to fill in a few more areas. So I added in a few of these little larger rock formations that they have, and I think it looks pretty good. This one sort of to tie in with the bones, the elephant graveyard. That's the only one with the bones sticking out that I have. I threw in this larger one just to take up some space. So for Eric's house, his is the one I'm least happy with at the moment. I have it set up where he's like farming the coffee beans and the cocoa beans. So that's why he's so wealthy and has this big castle, is he controls the chocolate and the coffee. It makes sense, right? I put a bunch of these littler palm trees in these little areas of dirt, thinking that made a little bit of sense. Yeah, so for his house, it's pretty boring. The best thing about his house is that I finally managed to make some of this fencing. It had taken so much iron that I hadn't been able to make very many of them, and I finally got a good amount. And now that I've got a new mining run figured out for myself, which I'm going to show in a video tomorrow, I'm able to make more iron and do a few other cool things. So I'm interested to show you all that tomorrow. Yeah, but his house is pretty boring. I've got to figure out more large items to make work here. Originally, I had the lions in front of his house in the other place, but I hate the color, the blue color now. It just doesn't work. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the front here. This is the area that I needed a little work, this curved path. I typically will put curved paths, I'll build them in this way, but I don't know that it works completely. But anyway, this curved path sort of leads to the central area on this side where Goofy's stall is. I tried to decorate behind it pretty well. I like it. And then it breaks off into a couple different paths. You can also follow this pathway from the start to just skip over going to Goofy and go directly to the mine back here. I left some coal. And then you can also go directly across to the bridge. So let's go first to this side. This is a little bit boring, so I was going to explain this is the area that I have set aside for Mirabel just in case I don't like her in the forest. So her house will go here if I don't like the forest placement, and it's sort of already set up for her. I can work out a pathway system pretty well and then decorate around the house, and she would get the nice little fountain here, which is kind of cool. The magical. I think it would fit. So she might end up here, she might end up in the forest. I'll let you know. So on this side, I've got quite a lot of stuff. I've got this little coffee area, and I sprinkled some coffee around on the ground because Stitch does live in this biome. You might have seen his house over by the waterfall. Maybe I should have gone over there first, but I didn't. Oh, that's kind of neat. I never noticed that little overhang with the water leading down into the glade. That's pretty cool. That's nice. So yeah, I gave him a coffee cart and a little swimming pool area here that he can enjoy since he's not at the beach. I gave him his own little oasis up here and a little place to throw parties. He's got his picnic table. I think that's Wally's umbrella, so I thought it was kind of fitting because Wally is right down here with Stitch, or he's in the Sunlit Plateau with Stitch. I threw in his book back here. I also gave him another one of those trees to make it glow at night. I don't have a ton of lights in this biome yet, so I probably won't show it off at night, but I'll come back later with a night tour and when I've managed to do a few other things that I want to do. So yeah, I wanted Wally up here because he really matches the area, I think. So he's been up here all along, but this is the first time I've decorated around his house. So I gave him a bunch of what is it? By and large, it's on his thing. The by and large stuff, the sign back there, just because he likes collecting all that stuff. I gave him a trash can, but I also gave him flowers, and I kept feeling guilty about his garden not being near him, so I moved it from the meadow where it was, and now he has the garden here in this corner, which I actually think works pretty well because it can go directly against that corner and sort of have this barrier with the rocks. So I like that quite a bit. I do want to add some path here, but I ran out and I was getting tired of mining for stuff. So eventually there will be a pathway from here to the garden area there. And then I threw back here a mining station that I think is going to stay there, because it's easy to pop into this well and then craft whatever I need right here for anywhere that I'm building, rather than having to run back to where my house is to craft every time. So I think that's going to stay, and it sort of matches Wally's aesthetic as well. And then I did a little for this well here. It's not a lot. I just put some trees and bushes and things. But this well is here so that I can easily come here to this mining spot. As I mentioned in a previous video, it was a suggestion by somebody, and I really wish I could remember the name of the channel and I would shout it out. That he did this whole thing about how to mine quickly and efficiently. And if I think of it, I will put it, or I'll go find it and I'll put it in tomorrow's video, the link. But yeah, because I hadn't really placed this well yet in Sunlit Plateau, I decided to just leave it here. And it's working out great because I can just teleport in here and start my mining run right there at that rock. And it's awesome. So I tried to leave areas around the pond to fish. And I can still get to all of these mining spots very easily, and nothing gets lost or stuck when I'm mining. And then I've got Stitch's house here. I decided to put him right next to the waterfall because it's a little more Hawaii feeling, and maybe he'll feel more at home by the water. So Stitch is right here. I gave him lots of flowers, and I put the Coco guitar here because he's so into music, and I gave him his spaceship car thing. But his main area for hanging out is obviously over there with the coffee cart and the swimming pool area. So I think that's about it. Again, I want to add more trees, and I want to get the pathways worked out slightly better in a few areas. But I was running out of this particular pathway, and it takes clay, and so I was tired of digging. That's what it amounts to. I needed more than I realized. But this is the area that needs the most work. I'm happier with the other part. But Eric's house is hard, right? It's not just me. His house is hard to decorate. And I wanted him to have a fancier pavement out here, but it doesn't look that great. So I don't know. I'm not sure what kind of rock to use here. Maybe I'll go to the brick. It looked better down in the meadow where I had him before. It just seemed to match better, and it it was shiny. And up here it's not shiny. Maybe it's a certain time of day where it's, I don't know. The lighting maybe just works differently up in Sunlit Plateau. I'm not sure. And I liked these planters, but I wish you could put something in them. So I hope that's something that they change. And I want to put this globe on something because it kind of made sense to me for him, because he's a sailor, for him to have that outside of his house. But yeah, it needs work. It needs a lot of work. And I need to figure out this pathing, this curved pathing. Maybe I'll figure out how to make it square and do something to it to make it make sense. Sort of block Eric's house off like he's got his own private estate, kind of. That's what I'm leaning toward right now. Something either with that fencing or some of the plaza hedges, if they don't look too out of place here. I was concerned that it would look out of place. But all in all, I'm really happy with this. Especially having Stitch up here by the waterfall. I think that looks really nice. And his little area back here with Wally, I'm really happy with. So there's room for growth. Again, I'm sort of being sparing with how many items I'm placing, and I'm using like the flowers and things that are already out as decoration, and so that they won't keep spawning everywhere. So yeah, so that's it for today. I will be back tomorrow, as I mentioned, with a video on my new mining run. Like, I have a specific way I like to mine for crafting materials. The best way that I've found to get the things that I need to build more pathways and lights, because those are the things that I need to build the most. So, alright, I will see you tomorrow.